was easy. Woo-hoo! There we go. Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are on the Evo, and I just spent the last 30 minutes nailing some nice mullet. Now I'm gonna go ahead and close that up and turn the live well on so they can get some more water. I usually only fill the water up a little bit in there when I'm getting mullet so they don't jump out. But now that they're all locked and loaded, we'll get that thing filled up for them. We're gonna be doing some big snook fishing today. I am a little late to the party today. A little late, I was exhausted this morning. I have been living in the turkey woods, scouting and scouting and scouting. Maggie and I have a hunt coming up this weekend, so we will be doing that in this video, but today is focused on snook fishing, and I'll tell you more about the turkey hunting later. But I'm glad we got some good mullets. We're ready to go find some snook and see what we can do. I'm looking for a big one today. Like I don't got little baits today. We got big baits, so big baits, usually you gotta catch some big snook. So we'll put them in front of some big fish and see if they're hungry today and see if we can pull a fish. I mean, if I get one good snook over 35, 30 inches, you know, in that range, I'm happy. I think that would be good today. It's a little breezy. I like that though, I really do. So let's get going here, get set up, and see if we can find a big fish. All right, so I'm actually gonna start off here with a mini mullet. Since fish were eating it well the other day, I actually just saw a couple snook under the mangroves here. We'll see if they'll eat it, but we'll switch to the mullet here soon. There's actually a fish right here. It actually looks like a redfish. No, those are snook. Snook on it. Got him, dude. That took no time at all. First cast of the day. I know they say that's bad luck, but that fish just followed that out. Oh, he came off. Shoot. Maybe it was bad luck. Little snook right there. Maybe a 18 incher, 20 incher. Oh, another one just came up behind him. Yeah, might be bad luck. First cast of the day to hook a fish. He chased that out of the shadow line 25 feet, just all up behind it, and then finally committed, grabbed it. I just didn't get the hook set just right. But that's a good sign. It's a good sign. We're in primo time right now, so fish should be eating really well. If we can see them, there's a good chance we can catch them. Mullet trying to jump out the boat the second I open up the well. Primo, right there. Toss him in the water. All right, now we're ready. We got a nice mullet here. We got a mini mullet ready right on this rod, so we're running 2 rods set up today. If I see a nice snook, I'll probably throw the live mullet at him, and if I see maybe some smaller ones up in the mangroves, we'll skip this under there at him, rip it out, and I'm sure we'll get them. But we'll just leave this probably right there. Let's do this. There's a couple snook right here. Oh, that was easy. Wanna meet it? Fish on. Good fish, good fish. Good fish. Good fish. Good fish. Keep his head up. Woo! That was easy. A little too easy. We're gonna see if we can get a hand on this fish. He's up under the motor there. Try to steer him away from the mangroves. It's not a giant, but man, did he crush it. Probably a 29, 30 incher. I mean, crushed it, dude. Laid it right in there. Mullet just swam out in front of him. Fish killed it. Look at that fish. Fat fish. That is a healthy one. Oh. See, sometimes the hardest part about catching a snook is this situation right here, but it looks like I got a good hook set. That is one of the bigger ones that was there. There was 4 or 5 of them. That's how you do it right there. That's how you do it right there. That's a quick start to the day. That is probably a 31 incher. We'll lay him on the ruler real quick and let him go. Like I said, probably about 31. I mean, a healthy fish too. This one's gonna be a big fish one day. He's all of 32 inches, technically an over slot fish. That was awesome. What a start to the day. What a start. Beautiful. Fat fish right there. We'll go ahead and be quick with this guy. I'm trying to be quiet here just in case there's any more fish down the line. I don't want to spook them. I want another shot at them, so. Beautiful snook. And there he goes, quick and easy. Well, I will tell you what, fishing, snook fishing, is absolutely never that easy. I almost feel like, dude, that might be the fish of the day right there, right off rip. The fish, I'll show you right here. You might be able to see that frayed me up pretty good. Luckily, that hook was right in the corner of the lip, so all the thrashing and whatnot, fish wasn't able to like completely fray it off. This is just 40-pound mono. You guys will see me use this a lot for snook in general. It's one of my favorite leaders to use just because it's not too heavy and it's not too light. You can get away with fish not seeing it while still having enough strength to really pull on fish and survive when they are fraying you just like that. So I won't lie, that was a bit lucky right off rip. First cast of the day with the mini mullet, we got an eat. First cast of the day with the actual mullet, we got an eat from an even bigger fish. 32-inch snook right there. I'll take it. I'm gonna go ahead and retie this and we'll just keep slowly moving along. There was, I mean, 4 or 5 fish lined up right there, and I genuinely think that fish that ate was the biggest of the little group right there, so. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, here's a nice snook. Nice fish. Big fish, big fish, big fish. No, no way, man. Oh, that's the one I'd been looking for. Ate it. Oh, ate the whole thing. Frayed 6 inches past the lure and I didn't get him. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. Oh, I spoke too soon. That's a heartbreaker. Oh, he was just gliding out in front of the boat. I don't know where he came from. I hadn't seen much. And I thought that he was just gliding up in the front of the boat because I probably spooked him, but oh, I flung it right there. Couple little twitches, came up on it super hard. A few more twitches and just inhaled it. You could see frayed it 6 inches past the mini mullet there. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. That was a 30 probably about something like that. I hadn't seen much the past hour and a half, and I'm just hoping, looking hard, and sure enough, right in front of the boat, one goes up right there. Hook just didn't get him. Oh, that's the worst. That is the worst. Kind of ate it and swam at me. That might have been part of the problem. But dang, that's what I've been hoping for. If I can see them, they're eating it. I just can't believe he came unglued. I had the mini mullet on me because I've been just skipping mangroves because I'm not seeing much else, so I'm skipping it back in the shadows, and that one was just clear as day right in front of the boat. Tough one. Tough one. Tough pill to swallow, but who knows, maybe I'll get another chance here real soon. Well, midday update now. It is really windy. It's not a problem, but we're gonna go get out of the wind, and it was just slow the past hour and a half-ish. Aside from that one I really should have had, man, but I missed him, so we're gonna keep moving and look for a bigger snook. 32 was nice this morning, but man, I got him about on the first cast, so I don't know, might be dealing with some bad luck here. But yeah, we're gonna move and look for one bigger. Some snook right in here, handful of them. Oh, nice one, just ate it. Came unglued. Put it back in there. There's several. Oh, got him. There's a fish. Got him. That fish clapped it, dude. Good fish. Good fish. Oh, another one just ate the mullet back there. Good fish. He's got the hook kind of deep. Ain't great to see. It's a slot size fish. Oh, dude, heck yeah. See if I can get a hand on this guy. It actually doesn't look like a bad hook set, but it is rubbing, for sure rubbing. Smoke that thing. This might be another 32-inch fish. Good hook set. Woo-hoo! There we go. There we go. Good one. Good one. Zero all the way to 30. Well, I will take that. Nice 30-inch snook on the live mullet. Pulling something together here. Midday, it's real windy. Great time to catch snook because they just let their guard down. And beautiful fish. We're gonna put this guy back. Great fish, man, great fish. Beautiful 32 and a 30. There he goes. Woo-hoo. Well, can't beat that, man. A little frayed there, just a little teeny tiny bit, but got him. 40-pound mono, little 6-0 circle hook there. Got him. So we got a 32 and a 30 today. That's solid. And actually, a snook blew up the mullet after I was hooked into the one because he knocked the mullet off, and another one hammered it, which is good to see. There might be another one lingering around here that just has no clue what's going on. We might be able to feed another mullet, but I'll take it. It's windy, it's cloudy, well, a little sunny, a little cloudy. But I said it, it's sometimes the best time to catch snook because they just let their guard down, man. They're just, the water's just kind of cruising over them, and compared to when it's dead calm, man, when it's dead calm, these fish, they know your every move, but when it's a little breezy, they just relax and they eat well, so. We'll see. Maybe we'll get another one. Maybe we won't. I'm stoked on those two fish already today. That's awesome. All right, well, that was a pretty solid day. I know I caught the first fish in like the first 15 minutes of the day, and the second fish like 4 hours later, but we made it happen. A 32-inch snook and a 30-inch snook on the live mullet, man. They love live mullet, especially this time of year. Well, they eat a lot this time of year. They'll eat just about anything, in my opinion, if you get the right fish. If they're aggressive, they'll eat. But yeah, if you told me at the beginning of the day that's how it was gonna go, I would have said, dang, that's a pretty good day. So that's about all I can say is it was a pretty good day. So we got to get ready for turkey hunting. We got a turkey hunt this weekend. Maggie and I are going in together, and I've never turkey hunted before. She's never turkey hunted before, and we're going to try to get each of our first. So that'll be pretty sweet. We got to go scout tomorrow, and then the day after we're going to do a little bit of we're going to dial in our guns and make sure we're set, practice a little bit, and I'll bring you all along for that. But I'm excited. I've just been living and breathing turkey hunting for the past month, and I've never done it before, so I'm excited. I think it could be really awesome. It could be disappointing. I'm really excited. So if y'all enjoy that, y'all stay tuned. We're gonna get on with that. But yeah, I'll see y'all. Yeah, we gotta sight in our guns, so I'll see y'all then. Well guys, it is absolutely time to get locked in. I'm joined with Maggie right here. Maggie, say hello.
Hi.
We are gonna do some target practice. We're gonna practice shooting turkey target. I'll go show you all here real quick what we got going on. Turkey target, 25 yards. Maggie's going ahead first. Maggie's got her 20 gauge in her hand and she is gonna get comfortable with that gun first. I have a 12 gauge. We're gonna go in with 2 guns just in case we have 2 gobblers come in on us. That is incredibly unlikely, but we just wanna have a second gun ready to go as well. And our second gun is Maggie's 20 gauge. So she's gonna go ahead and get comfortable with that, as well as the 12 gauge. I might take a few shots with the 12 gauge, even though I actually have already prepped and practiced. And I'm happy Maggie's gonna be joining me. So you ready, Maggie?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Woo-hoo-hoo! Let's go check it out. I'd say at 25 yards, you definitely got a dead turkey. I definitely would say this could be a little tighter spread, to be honest, but it's not bad. We might want to keep this as kind of our close range option, but that spread ain't bad. That definitely killed the turkey, I will say. All right, Maggie took a few more practice shots at that first target. We just swapped them and went to 35 yards. That looked dang good.
Yeah.
From what I can see from here. Let's go check it out. Not bad. I don't think it's got quite the like amount of power that the 12 gauge has with the 3.5 inch shells, but all right, Maggie's gonna take one more shot at this target at 35 yards, but I think we came to the conclusion that this 20 gauge, this old 20 gauge, probably 35 yards is the absolute max on distance we should be working with it. Like I said, that's an emergency gun in case 2 gobblers come in tight. We both have a gun in our hands and it's what we got, but I think 35 yards is about probably where we should stop. We shouldn't shoot anything outside of that, which is that's pretty normal for turkey hunting anyway. I don't see why that won't work at all. All right, fresh target. Maggie's got my 12 gauge, which is a Stoeger M3500 with the factory turkey choke. And we're gonna practice, this is the main turkey gun. We're shooting Longbeard XR 3.5s, 5-shot. And this is a 12 gauge gun. So this is the main turkey gun. A little left, a lot tighter spread at 25 yards, but you can see it's way tighter than the other spread. But good to know. I still said you would have killed that turkey for sure. I think you got a dead turkey there. There was a total of 3 different shots on this pattern right here. The first 2 were a little left, and you definitely corrected on that last one there. There was a lot more bulk in this area, and this is a pretty tight target, but I mean, it's pretty realistic. And that head was dead center of this picket, and she blew it straight in half, so I think you got it down. I think you're comfortable now with the 12 and the 20. You feel a little bit better shooting out today?
Definitely.
Definitely, good job. All right, my turn here. We're at 35 yards. I've patterned this gun out to 50 and I'm pretty confident with out to that. It's got a really tight spread with this setup, but we'll take a couple at 35, maybe move to 40 and 45, somewhere in there, and just get comfortable. Let's do it. Woo. All right, well, first shot at 35 yards, definitely a little high and left. I don't know if it could be the wind, is it the gun, but I'll try to adjust for it. We'll take another one at 35, see if I can correct this pattern here, get that more right in there.
Much better.
I definitely think either of those shots will kill that turkey, or at least knock him on the dang ground, but would like to see that spread right there. All right, it's pouring, but we're gonna make a quick 40-yarder. Ready?
Yeah.
Missing a little left still. I don't know what the theme is with that. If it's the Stoeger, is it me? But I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, there's easily 12 pellets in the head there at, that was actually 45 yards. I think I said 40, but that was actually 45 yards. I mean, that's a poke, but I don't know. I don't think there was any turkeys that walked out of this shooting range alive. All right, guys, well, of course, it started raining, then it stopped raining, then it started raining, then it stopped raining. We're gonna head on home and get ready for tomorrow. It is day 1 of our hunt, And we shot a little bit there, just got a little comfortable shooting a target, and I've already gotten my setup dialed in pretty well. Maggie just got getting comfortable with shooting both the guns, so she's ready to go tomorrow if the time if everything works out and somehow we have 2 come in on us. Unlikely, but possible. We got 2 guns ready to go, and I think we're comfortable. I'm pretty confident. I'm excited, but I'll tell you more about the actual hunt tomorrow. Just felt good to shoot a little bit and prep. You excited, Maggie?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah.
I'm a lot of it excited, so. All right, let's head on home before we get hit with the next storm here. Let's do it. Well, I really wanted this to go differently, but I'm gonna come out straight up and say we were not successful. And I thought a lot about, before this hunt, what happens if I'm not successful? I'm trying to film it, I'm trying to share my experience with my first time turkey hunting, and what happens if I'm not successful? Will I ever talk about it again? Will I share it? What will I do? And I think ultimately, looking back on it, I gained way more knowledge. I learned a lot of lessons, I made a lot of mistakes, and I ended up coming out way more ahead than I think I would have had I killed a turkey this past weekend. So it was an incredible 3 days. It flew by like in the blink of an eye. And like I said, I made mistakes and I learned from them. I'm gonna share some of them with you, and I'm gonna walk you guys through this hunt on what I was thinking, why I made the decisions I did, and how I just got beat. I don't know anything that can compare to turkey hunting. Maybe the closest thing is chasing migratory tarpon. Felt as if I was always a day behind, a step behind the turkeys. Or in this case, I feel like it might have been 1 turkey. But nothing could have prepared me for these 3 days hunting other than truly just hunting. And the amount of scouting that I put in, the amount of effort that I put in before the hunt was just unreal. I put a massive amount of miles on my truck, my e-bike. I walked my butt off. I did everything I could have possibly done. The research, the reading, the trying to bring in as much knowledge. Nothing could have prepared me for these 3 days. So I'm gonna walk you guys through it. And I'm gonna send you guys back to that first morning, and we'll start from there. All right, well, good morning, guys. It is currently 4:30 in the morning, and we're on the road. We're heading in to go turkey hunt, and a lot of nerves right now. I'm super anxious. A lot of it just making the right decision on where we're gonna go sit, being in the right spot, being at the right spot at the right time, because I got a couple different options. And scouting, I mean, I've scouted 10 different times. I've put in an unreal amount of miles on my car, the e-bike, walking. So it feels like there's a lot on the line right now of making something happen for all the effort I've put in. And I think ultimately for the first turkey hunt for Maggie and I think if we kill a turkey in this few day span, I think that would be success. That would be a big success. It is a real challenge for sure. These turkeys these Osceolas are insanely smart. The eyesight is just unreal, and I've learned that. I mean, from scouting, their eyesight is absolutely insane. They're smart, so we'll see how it goes. We're gonna get there in the dark, we're gonna walk in the dark, and we're gonna set up, and hopefully they gobble. Hopefully they come through where we're gonna sit, and hopefully we can pull a turkey. I mean, I'd like to get one this first day because I think it's gonna be the best opportunity between the few days we got. Let's go ahead and I'll see you guys wherever we end up. All right, well, we've made it back to the car. That was pretty disappointing, somewhat of a dud. We had really all morning, didn't hear anything, and 2 hens walked up, and we just sat till basically 1 o'clock, and no gobblers. Even though that I had a cam in that area, and it has been loaded with gobblers for the past month, and it's shut down the past couple days, so pretty tough, but it is what it is. We got other options, and I think for right now we're just gonna rest and I don't know, figure out a new game plan. But for right now, we're worn out, we're gonna rest. So that was first morning, and I'll tell you what, I was super confident going into that first morning, and I knew if nothing happened that first morning, it was gonna be a challenge from here on out, and that's exactly what happened. We did have 2 hens come in on us, which was cool to see, and it felt good. Like, there were turkeys here, and if there's hens here, there's very good possibility there's gobblers in the area as well. And as I mentioned, I had a cam in that area that for a month straight, I discovered this track where they were walking, and they had to be walking every day, but the cam was only pulling pictures between 11 and 2 o'clock. This was like a midday spot for them where they were roosting in an area, and they would come on and push through that area, feeding throughout the morning. And I knew if it didn't happen that first morning, we kind of needed to figure something else out. And I had essentially that spot we sat in, which was our main spot, and I had another spot up here, which was like my second spot. And separated between those 2 areas was a lot of water. So in my head, the turkeys that were down here were not the same ones that were up here, but I think later on I learned that they were probably all the same birds scooting on through. So they didn't want to be in that area that morning. And I think what I learned the most from that first sit was my hide. Now, that hen that came through, I could see her from 100 yards away. I could see her with binos, and she walked all the way down to essentially 15 feet in front of us before she got uncomfortable. And you notice she clucked a little louder, and made a U-turn and scooted on out of there. And that was, she had to have seen us. Although you're sitting dead still, you're in the shadows with the camo. We were tucked behind a nice pine tree. We had good cover. At 15 feet, she saw us, and I would have really liked for her to just keep on pushing and keep on going, because you just never know. There could have been a gobbler within 100 yards sitting in the woods watching her, and when she turned around and kind of sent off a little alarm, he could have caught on to that and turned away. So I think I learned a lot about our hide, and I improved on that in the second and the third day. But I would have really liked to seen that bird kind of just push on by and maybe seen if something was behind or following. But in that position, I could see 100 yards to the right, I could see 100 yards to the left, and if they were pushed on through, and if a gobbler came on by all the way up to 15 feet, I mean, we would have killed it. It would have been easy peasy, and that's genuinely what I was expecting sitting in that spot. Now, in the afternoon, we didn't see anything as well, so in the second day, Maggie stayed back, and I went in on my own. And I decided to sit up in that other region where I knew birds were gobbling a couple days prior, and I had actually seen a bird strutting. So I felt good about that other location, and I moved in there on the second day. I just heard my first gobble, which was pretty dang far from me, but it's at least good to hear. Something might fire off soon close. It's one more gobble than I heard yesterday. It was pretty windy yesterday, so might just be overall better action today. We'll see. So in day 2, I wanted to be a bit more aggressive with how I hunted. I didn't want to waste any time because I only had 3 days to hunt. And now we're on the second day. I had nothing to show for the first day. I didn't even really know where a gobbler was, but luckily that 7 a.m. mark rolled around, and I had 1 gobble, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and they were gobbling back to owls, to crows. They were pretty fired up, so that was good to see. But one thing I never considered through all my research and scouting, if I heard a gobble, how far truly was that gobble away from me? Now, where I was sitting, I could just barely hear them, and I'm sitting there on my phone trying to research if I hear a gobble and I could barely hear it, how far away is that bird? And I kind of came to the conclusion that bird was probably 500 yards away and he was roosting, he was gobbling on the roost, and I did know that much, but after roosting and flying in and landing on the ground, that bird could be essentially anywhere. If he doesn't gobble again, if he goes quiet, he could be anywhere. So about 7:45 came around and I decided to scoot a little closer. I got up and I just creeped as close as I could to where I thought that gobble came from, and I do some light yelps, and just I wasn't getting anything back. They'd completely shut up. And so I just kept walking and walking, and I ended up sitting about 1,000 yards away from where I originally sitting. So I kind of overshot where I thought that gobble was, but I wasn't getting anything. I wasn't hearing anything. I was constantly looking for fresh tracks on where that bird may have landed and maybe walked through here. Maybe I was just behind him and I was seeing fresh tracks, and I felt like he's in this area. And so I decided to sit down and just wait it out from the morning. So I sat in this next spot from pretty much 8 o'clock until 2 p.m. And well, this is what happened. I just had two hens come in. They came around the corner to the left so quick and so quiet. I couldn't believe it. If a gobbler does the same thing, I might be thrown off a little bit. That was sick. They just had me pinned here. They kept looking at me, looking at the decoy, and they just kept on moving, picking and kept moving. That was sick though. They kept looking behind, and I was just hoping that a gobbler was going to come around the corner with them, but I don't know, could still be here lurking. That was good to see some action though. So those were two hens there that had came around the bend to my left, and they showed up out of nowhere. I mean, once they came around that bend, they were like up in my face, and it really taught me a lesson about how good turkeys can pinpoint where a sound came from. So I would just sit there and hit some soft yelps, every 15 to 20 minutes, just trying to do my best for a little bit of realism. I'm not great with the mouth call, but I think I was more than good enough. And they walked off that trail. It came around the bend, walked off that trail, and walked straight to me. I was, 10 yards from the trail. They came off the trail, walked straight to my blind, kind of looked at me, and in the moment, I'm like sitting there dead still, like, please don't see me, please don't spook. And they didn't. They knew exactly where that yelp came from, which was amazing to me. And I've heard about it and how good turkeys are at picking out a sound and knowing exactly where they came from. And they could have been 150 yards away the last time I yelped, but they knew when they came around that corner exactly where to look on where that sound came from and where the yelp came from. So that was pretty amazing to me. And unfortunately, I sat there till 2 o'clock, and I was just really hoping that with those two hens shortly after, there was going to be a gobbler following right behind him. I felt like I had been where they were gobbling that morning, and I had set up in relation to it, and I was like, something's going to come through here midday looking for, a gobbler's going to come through here looking for a hen, and it just didn't happen. So really unfortunate, but I felt really good going into the third day. And actually later that day, I sat a little bit down the ways a little bit, but in the same region, hoping for, hey, if something was gobbling here this morning, he's going to come back to roost here in the afternoon. And I sat in that other spot that was, just down the way a little bit closer to where I heard those gobbles. And I sat there from 2 to really 7 o'clock. I sat in the woods from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and I didn't have a gobbler. I hadn't laid eyes on one. I hadn't truly heard one. And since that morning, like I just had nothing. But what I did know going into the third day was they're roosting in this region right here. They're moving through this area right here. I need to be in that zone again tomorrow because I'm seeing tracks. I know that they were here, like fresh tracks. So that's exactly what I did. And Maggie joined me for day number 3, and we were dang close. But check it out. Where we just made a move pretty early. Just sucks, but no gobbles in the area. I thought there would be gobbles, or at least where they were yesterday. So we got up and moved and kind of went down the way, and hopefully we're getting a step ahead of them here. If we moved before, hopefully they start hitting these paths and start wiggling around. And so we're set up. Maggie's right behind me. At this point, a turkey would be more than enough. This is just unreal how smart they are. It's crazy. So this is where the part of the story gets, unfortunately, pretty interesting. So we went ahead and set up just a little down the ways of where I sat all day yesterday. I just went a little bit deeper in there. And we listened from where I heard gobbles yesterday, and we didn't hear any gobbles, of course. But we scooted down pretty early in the morning, got set up, ready for something to walk through midday, that like prime time, like 10 to 2, when a gobbler might be out on his own wandering around. And so the way we set up, there was this nice T in the path, right? So the path that I was set up on yesterday was like this, and there was another path like this, like a nice little intersection, and created like a T. And we sat up maybe 30, 40 yards from that T. And that was only because there was just no good spot to sit up close to the T. I actually really wanted to look down this road to where I could see to my left, I could see to my right, I could see straight forward. And there were fresh tracks, like it looked very good. And that was the main reason I was like, all right, we just got to sit here. We got to pick a spot and just wait at this point. We have no real knowledge as to where they're at right now, other than, hey, they were in this area yesterday. They might be here again today. So we got in there, I want to say it was like 7:45, 8. It was shortly after, the time you would hear a gobble. We decided to slide up just a little bit deeper in there. And we had set up and we had waited from that time until 11 o'clock with nothing. Not a single peep. Didn't see a hen. Didn't hear a rustle in the bushes. And just absolutely nothing. And for some odd reason, I decided, I was like, I'm going to get up, and there's a little trail back behind where we're sitting, a little game trail that walks out to some open area, which is actually private, but I was like, I just want to take a walk down there. Let me see what's going on. I mainly just wanted to get up from sitting down, and I needed to go to the bathroom. And for some odd reason, I decided to do that. And Maggie's sitting behind me. She's pretty deep in the blind, basically, so she couldn't really see well. I had set up perfectly where I could see that whole intersection. And so I get up, I probably walk back down this little game trail, and it didn't look great. Like, it didn't look like anywhere turkeys would walk through. I saw some deer tracks, and I was gone for 5-6 minutes. I went to the bathroom, and I come back to where our blind is, and I knew that, hey, I don't want to just jump on back in the blind, something could be here. And I kind of take a little peek to my left, and I take a little peek to my right just with my eyes. And sure enough, in the middle of the road, I catch a glimpse of something standing in the middle of that T-shaped intersection, which was 40, 50 yards away. I mean, it was a distance. I catch a glimpse of it, and I kind of freeze, and my heart just absolutely, dude, it was like seeing a ghost, genuinely. Like, I've never seen a ghost, but if there was a time to see one, I felt like that was it. I felt it. Like, I felt it in my chest of, oh my God, I just messed up big time. Oh my, don't move. And so I pinned to the pine tree, which is, there's two little pine trees like right in front of me, and I was actually just using for cover as I was going to crawl back into our little blind setup. And I look kind of around the corner, and I see this bird walking away the opposite direction. So it came out of that tee, and instead of turning right, which would have been, facing right in our faces, it's back to me, and it was going the opposite direction. And just down that bend as you come around was right where I was sitting the day before, where the hens walked past. And my heart is just like thumping, 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 thumping of like, I cannot believe I just got up and I missed my one opportunity for a bird. Like, that was the timing. I had sat in the woods now for 35 hours, whatever it might have been, hadn't seen a thing, and I got up for 5 minutes. And that's when that turkey slipped up. In that 5-minute span, he slipped up. So at this point, I didn't feel as if I'd made any real major mistakes that were working against me. Sure, I could have probably made a bunch of more effective decisions to find some more success, but I hadn't made any real mistakes in my opinion. So when I had crawled on the ground back into the blind, the turkey was still, this was a gobbler at this point. I knew for sure his head was bright red, and I was able to get my binos up, and I'm sitting there looking at him when I was behind the pine tree. And even going the opposite direction, like with his back to me, I could see his beard from behind him. Like, I was behind him, and I could see his beard almost essentially dragging the ground. And what that means is it was a mature gobbler. That was the one I was after for sure. And I crawled back into the blind, and I hit a couple light yelps at him, and he was just pecking along, just walking, like not a care in the world. I was pretty confident he hadn't seen me. I had a couple light yelps, and he just kept going, completely ignored it. So I sat there, and he was about to go around the bend. I was like, I hit him with a few more louder yelps where I was like, he's got to hear this. He stops dead in his tracks. He looks over his shoulder and just looks back the other direction and kept just picking stuff off the ground. And I was like, I guess for one, I don't feel like he's spooked. He doesn't like something over here for some reason. He might have seen our decoy. I put it in a spot where he couldn't probably see it that well from that area, and I was so mad at myself I didn't get to see what he actually did when he came out of that cut because I wasn't there. Did he look over at the decoy? Did he start to approach the decoy? Did he flare up and start strutting towards it and get weird about it and go the opposite direction? I don't know. And the area he came out of was probably 50 yards. If he had came out of that cut and came anywhere closer, I would have killed him, but I wasn't there to see it. And that was just maddening in the moment. But what I did see is him going the opposite direction, and he wasn't super spooked. He was just going to keep traveling on that path. And what really made me mad in the moment was he walked right past where I was sitting yesterday. And I sat there for 6 hours. This would have been around the same time the hens came through, and I wasn't sitting there today. And that just made me so mad that I was like, I had him. That was it right there. I was right in his path, and I switched up a few things today, but I knew he was there, and he walked right past where I was sitting. He went around that bend, and I gotta just assume he just kept pecking along. And this is where I made my first real major mistake, or maybe my second major mistake, is we pulled out of there. We backed up after a couple minutes and said, okay, he's probably not going to come back our direction now that he went around that corner with his back to us. We got to set up out ahead of him. We can get ahead of him because he's going to keep walking down this windy trail. We could get back in and ahead of him. And I made just a huge mistake here. Between where we were sitting and where that bend where he went around the corner was probably 80 yards, maybe 100 yards, something like that. And so he was 100 yards from where I first originally seen him. And we backed out of there and tried to set back up and get back up ahead of him. And in my mind, I was like, okay, we're getting like 250 yards ahead of where we had last seen him, or at least where we were sitting. And what didn't connect in the moment was where we pulled in and got in front of him at was only 150 yards from where I had last seen him like 10 minutes earlier. hindsight's 2020, he was for sure past this area on the path. In 10 minutes, he easily covered 150 yards, and we had undercut him. He had passed us by the time we tried to intercept him. And that was, in the moment, it seemed like the right decision of like, okay, we're going to set up right here, and he should be coming around that bend in a couple minutes or very soon. And I just, without the previous knowledge of how to reset up on a turkey and a gobbler, where I knew where he was going, knew where he was going to end up, if I had to do it all over again, I would have said, let's just get 600 yards down the line. We had a fire break to our advantage. We can just head down there and set back up on him and wait for him to get by, because we could move way faster than him without him knowing we were there. And that was our major advantage. But I didn't play into it because I didn't know any better. I thought for sure we were making the right decision in the moment, and my heart's thumping. I was like, it was like seeing a ghost. I couldn't think straight, and hard to make that right decision when you haven't been through it before. So we ended up sitting right in this particular spot for 15 minutes, and I was like, he passed us for sure. And I went and looked on the trail, which we were, had eyes on. And I was like, man, there's some fresh tracks here going in that direction. That was probably him. We missed him. So at this point, the only thing we can really do is try to intercept him again. Let's get back on that fire break where we can cover some ground quickly and try to get up past him. And we went up 450 yards, 500 yards. And by the time we did all this, it was probably 25 minutes since we had seen this bird. So in the moment, another time it felt like I was making the right decision, but we ended up moving up about 450 yards and from that exact spot, and just sat there for an hour with just nothing. He never came on that path. And I was pretty certain, or I was hopeful in the moment he would, and it just never happened. It just didn't. It was really, really frustrating to know that I had been so solid and steady, quiet this whole time, so consistent. I was closing in, I was getting closer, and my opportunity was like, it fell right through my fingertips. That was it right there. I mean, if I were to do it over again, I would have sat up maybe a little closer to that tee. I would have sat in that exact spot I sat earlier where the hens walked on by me without a clue, and I would have killed that bird. And it was just maddening. It was maddening. So I draw a lot of parallels between fishing and hunting, and I've been fishing a whole lot longer than I've been hunting. I've been duck hunting now for 5 years, and I've learned a lot through that and improved in my fishing ability. And the way this video started, it started with me saying, man, that was easy. And you learn a lot about fishing and hunting as well through trial and error, and I think this hunt was trial and error. I have to put a lot more time in before I can wrap up a hunt and say, man, that was easy. And I think that me failing and me trying so hard and still failing was worth way more than setting up in an area I knew they were coming through from trail cams and killing a bird. I would not have learned as much about turkeys and turkey hunting if that would have happened. I think this hunt went exactly the way it was supposed to. I came into it thinking, man, this is going to be easy, and I got played. And I think most veteran turkey hunters would say that is exactly par for the course. That is exactly how turkey hunting is. If you slip up one time, they're going to take advantage of it. And then, man, it seems like if they slip up, there's a very good chance I may slip up at the same time, and they're gonna walk off to see another day. And that's turkey hunting. That's probably what I learned, is they are way ahead of you. And I think that's what makes it so fun. It's so challenging and just an incredible animal. A lot of people say that wild turkeys are the hardest animal in the country to kill. They are smart, and I saw it firsthand. Just an incredible game. Unfortunately, I didn't win this one, but you win some and you lose some, and that's the way it goes. And maybe one day I'll wrap up a hunt and say, man, that was easy, but I am absolutely gonna try again, and I cannot wait for the opportunity to get back in the woods and chase after a turkey, man. That was it. That was it. I hope y'all enjoyed that. A little bit of fishing, a little bit of hunting. I learned a lot. I know there's some things I will never do again, and there are some things that I can't wait to try differently the next time I get back out there. And yeah, trial and error, that's what it is. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in that next video.